Submission Radio here in Dublin, sitting alongside James McSweeney ahead of KSW 40 in Dublin, Ireland, where he's fighting Mariusz Pudzianowski, five times world's strongest man, now turned MMA fighter, as we discussed earlier. So James, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for having me on, and just relaxed a couple of days before the fight, so just chilled and enjoying the ride.
So before we start, just wanted to say this is like your return fight into MMA. You have a brief retirement for just over a year. Why did you retire, and why are you coming back?
Well, I think it's like in MMA. I mean, at the time when I said I retired, it's not like you go out there and you say, well, I'm going to take some time off. At the time when you don't want to fight at the time, or you feel like you're not doing justice to the sport by the way you're fighting or the way you're performing, then you don't know there's an ending where it's ever going to get better. So the statement for me was, yeah, I'm retired. I'm going to take time off. And I didn't know what the outcome was going to be in the future, how well my body recovered or if it recovered at all. But my body is recovered, and it is 1,000%, and I feel like I'm a 20-year-old again. So I've never taken longer than 3-4 months off from fighting, ever. So in over 20 years. So having that 12 months brought back that hunger. Also, it gave me some time to just go to different gyms, learn without any pressure of combat, without any pressure of I have to learn this because I've got a fight soon. In training camps, you don't really learn much new. You just learn how to prepare for somebody. So it gave me some time to work on some wrestling, work on my jiu-jitsu, work on my striking, and without no pressure, and just enjoy the sport again. And so now I feel I have some new tools.
So would you say you've grown now as a fighter, as a turn of your retirement?
Yeah, for sure. I've grown. I learned a lot about myself. I mean, when I retired, at that stage, I was probably at the bottom mentally of my career. My mentality at the time, I was, feeling not good about myself. I was, not depressed, but I wasn't happy with myself and my performances. I wasn't happy with my training camps. I wasn't happy with how my body felt. I was aching all the time, not sleeping good. So, whereas now, when all that's turned around and you've come through it and you've learned along the way and you all come back, it's just like the epiphany, the complete opposite of what you were feeling before, and that's an amazing feeling. And it just goes to show you that I was built to do this sport.
So does that mean you'd be more excited now than you've ever been? It sounds this way.
Yeah, for sure. I'm much more relaxed. I know myself. I don't have to. I know the sport inside and out. I mean, that's what I say about people asking, what's going to happen with your fight with Mariusz? Everyone asks the same question. No, Mariusz can't do anything to me that hasn't already been done. I've had over the last 20 years, I fought at the highest level across all platforms in the world. I've been kicked, I've been punched, I've been elbowed, I've been kneed, and I've been submission attempts, wrestling takedowns, cage work. I've had it all. There's nothing he can do to me that hasn't been done or I'm not prepared for. Yeah. So as my age and stage in this career, this is all I've ever done. I wasn't a bodybuilder 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I wasn't a powerlifter 5 or 10 years ago. I wasn't a gymnast or a swimmer and just used that publicity to go on to something else. I've been a fighter since I was 5 years of age. I started this sport. I turned professional at 16. I'm now 36. So this is what I do. This is nothing. I'm a veteran. This is not. He can't do anything to me that hasn't been done or that I'm not aware of.
Do you rate him as a fighter at all?
No.
So where would he be, offer you the most danger, as you feel?
I mean, like anybody of a heavyweight, you have to give. I respect him as a heavyweight. I respect him as, a competitor, because he's highly competitive. When you saw him in the strongman contest, he was highly competitive, and also you see him fight. It's not like he's the worst, terrible guy in the world. No, it's not the case. But do I put him up there with the top 50 of the world? No, I don't. Of course not, and no one would if you know about the sport. If you're being really honest, this fight for me is okay, well, if he's that bad, then what are you, because you're fighting him? This is a warm-up fight for me. This is my comeback fight. This is not a world title fight that I called out like Cain Velasquez at my first fight or Junior Dos Santos or anyone like that. This is a comeback fight. When you come back from fight, what do they give you? They give you a warm-up fight.
So you're saying this is your warm-up fight.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? It sounds like you have a plan now.
Of course, I have a business plan. This is a business for me. I have a 3 to 5 year business plan, and I'm going to implement it. Me and my coaches have set a standard of what we're willing to improvise, and we know exactly part of it. Mariusz is just the warm-up fight where I can go out, play around a little bit, experiment with some of the new skills I've learned, make sure we test them under pressure, and we get to experiment. I mean, when you knock out someone big and someone who's so popular, it's fun, right?
Do you think this fight, if we win here on Sunday, that sets you up for a title fight in KSW?
When I win on Sunday, yeah, it doesn't. To be honest with you, it doesn't matter if they give me a title fight straight after or in 2 fights' time. At the end of the day, I'm already the champion, in my opinion. I've already won the belt. The champion right now, I've already beat him. So, and I beat him when I was 50%. So now I'm 100+%. Everyone's going to see it on Sunday, and I don't care who I have to go through to get to that belt. But that belt is coming back with me. Excellent.
Now, just moving on slightly, you were famously on probably the most famous season of The Ultimate Fighter. Well, one of the most famous seasons of The Ultimate Fighter, Tough to Heavyweights. I had two people of note who were also on that season. Is Kimbo Slice, who passed away not so long ago. What were your thoughts on Kimbo, and what did you think of him in the house? And have you got any stories?
Yeah, I was actually very surprised by Kimbo. He was a complete different character than I assumed. When he walked in the door, the way they set it up, they brought 15 of us out, and then like he'd come kicking through the door. Like they put a big target straight on his back. I mean, you just put 15 of the best fighters in the world coming up to, and all of a sudden this guy walks in and think he's the king of the ring. He put a big target on his head. But to be honest, once you spend time with the guy, the persona is complete opposite. He actually is a very nice guy, very humble, good family man. He has 6 children, he works hard, and he was very honest and open about his stature of himself in the MMA community. He was saying, listen, I'm not an MMA fighter. This is something that I do to provide for my family, and this is what I've done. I'm willing to learn. He would always ask questions. He was always willing to learn. I remember even in the house, like he would pick people out, and like you could see him. He was never too not too egotistical to ask a question. Like he asked me to show him how to leg kick. He asked wrestling tips from Roy Nelson. He was asking lots of different questions. He was very interested in learning stuff, and so it really changed my opinion. The guy was a very good cook. He used to barbecue and cook for us all the time. He would tell us stories about stuff that happened. He worked in the porn industry and stuff like that, security, and he would tell us stories. He was a very nice guy, you know what I mean? And when he passed, it was a big loss, not just for the MMA community, because that's what people always want to say, but knowing him as a man and knowing that how he thought of his children and his family, you can only put yourself in their position to see how much it must have devastated them.
Yeah. And another person that was on the show was Brendan Schaub, who's obviously moved on and is finding great success at the stand-up. What do you think of Brendan and his success now?
He's always been a funny fucker, right? He used to make us laugh. Brendan's a cool guy. I rated him as a fighter, and he did a great job, and I think he really made a name for himself in the MMA world. I'm glad he's gone on to move on to bigger and better things for him, and I hope he's happy, and it seems like he's doing amazing with his stand-up and his podcast, and he's on the Joe Rogan show every 5 minutes, and he's going his own direction. And that's one thing I think a lot of fighters have a hard time with, is letting go and moving on. And I'm really, I've known him since we were very young, so I'm very happy for him, and he's moved on. He's got a family now, he's got a baby and that, and I wish him nothing but success.
Yeah, so as you said, you know Brendan a long time. You trained with him in Denver, I believe, as well. On the show, like, we didn't get to see much of his personality. He was kind of, even though he reached the final, like he done really well on the show. But it seemed like his personality kind of shone through after he retired. Has he been the same all the way through?
Yeah, Brendan's always had a very good personality. He's always been a very funny guy. And but the thing is with Brendan, when you first meet him, he's not nervous or shy or anything like that. He just doesn't overly communicate until you get to know him. And when he bonds a bond with you, he doesn't shut up. So, you know, we used to share the room together, we trained together, and I got a lot of respect for him. Even when we had a conflict in the house for the two fights at the fight, I cornered Brendan when he fought. And I was, you know, really grateful for him to think of me that way, to corner him. And it was a great honour to corner him for that fight. So, he's always had a good personality. And of course, I'm sure he's grown. I mean, we're going back a long time now. That was back in 2010 or something, so 7-8 years ago. So I'm sure he's grown as a man, and he's learned the comedy route. He's had a lot of good people like Joe Rogan and a lot of other good guys, Brian Cannon, around him, so they can help him, you know, and taught him. But I'm sure I've seen his show. He's funny.
All right, cheers, James. Thanks very much.